Well, like 2 or 3 people asked for it, so you got it. We got more LS-C10 content right here. I know what you can see. You can see the hood's off. We'll get to that in a bit. And there's really big pappy cap on it now, because why not? But actually, I'm actually going to do something somewhat different, in that I'm going to attempt to make the interior of this thing livable now. I've been kind of pecking away at it since the original swap. I'll probably insert some photos here, in montage in fact. As you can see, the interior was kind of bleh when I first got the truck, and it got worse when I was doing the swap. At least the first year, maybe the first 2 years of these Squarebodies, the dashboard was actually made of like a paper material. It wasn't even like vinyl or anything. So just resting your hand on this, the dashboard like fell apart. Every time if you had the windows down, you'd get like dashboard blown in your face. So I just ripped it out when I was doing the LS swap. So, you know, that was kind of downfall for the interior from that point on. The seat was out of a different truck. The doors are off a different truck. I think like most of these trucks, it's probably made out of like 5 other trucks combined. So everything's all mismatched. So I'm going to try and make the interior like somewhat presentable and address a few other issues that make sense to do while I'm in there. So let me show you what we have going on. So there's a couple things that are synonymous with Squarebodies. I think one of the most known ones is the fact the doors don't shut. And as you can see, this truck is no exception. Unless you put the entire throttle of God into closing the door, nope, they don't close. And this happens to all of them. I mean, the trucks in general aren't the most like structurally sound thing, that they twist and they creak and everything. So I'm sure that throws it out of adjustment. This truck wasn't too bad until I put it on a lift a couple times, and then the doors didn't really want to close. And what was the final straw was I decided to be nice and put new weather stripping in there. And when I did that, that was really like the nail in the coffin for the doors closing. They never closed right after that. So there's 2 fun things about adjusting doors on these. One is you have to pull the fender off. 2, you can't have door weather stripping in it. So it's good I just installed that. Well, not just, but it's good that's in there, because now I'm probably going to tear it taking it out. Hopefully I don't, but I actually put it in there with the adhesive, so it probably will tear. But let's see how this goes. I'm going to pull the fender off and then see what we can do about the door. So you'll see they came apart pretty quick. I'll just tell you this, things come apart a lot quicker and go together a lot quicker when you're missing over half the bolts. So we'll just leave it at that. And luckily my weather stripping came apart. So you can see now the door like kind of closes. Like it's actually shut now that the weather stripping in there, but it still isn't right. It's rubbing here, obviously. You can see it when I get close to it here, and I probably won't be able to see it with the camera, but yeah, right there. It's rubbing. So I definitely know that's off. And then it looks like it gets wider, the gap at the bottom. Let's see. Yeah, there's like half a pinky width. And then up here, I can't even get anything in. So here are the hinges. I attempted to fix this a while ago because, well, I took it to a body shop and they told me the problem was the fact that this door hinge was cracked. So I was like, cool, I'll put a new hinge in it. So I pulled the fender off. I actually put, that's one used hinge off another truck, but it's good. And this is one brand new OEM replacement hinge. And although it's not cracked, it didn't fix anything. So now I'm back here to adjusting it. The fun part is all these bolts on the hinges that go into the truck itself and in there go into the door, they're all slotted. So you can move the door in and out, front and back. So I mean, it's good for adjustment, but it's also bad because you have too much adjustment. So I guess I just got to fiddle with this. I don't think there's any, no, there's no shims involved. Old cars use these body shims. Like this here's one of the fender bolts. Like it could have been under that to raise the fender up, and that's how you adjust the clearances of your fenders. But I think everything's just in the hinges on this. So I guess I'll just fiddle with this for the next 4 to 5 weeks. Okay, so I spent some time fiddling with this, and right now I'm at an issue where this is where the door striker goes. You can see by the rust and right through the line where I lined it. And this thing, you know, goes in there, goes through, this thing goes in the back, whatever. And you can actually, in that square, you can actually like move it around somewhat. But for whatever reason, I can't get enough adjustment out of it. I need this to come out another like maybe 1/8 inch so the door closes properly. So I don't see any reason why I just can't grind this out a little bit, give myself more adjustment. But that's kind of one of the reasons I think why the door won't latch real easily is because this is in too far. Also, this is a brand new used one because the old one was pretty much done. Let me see if I can even find it. Oh, there goes that one too. Yeah, here's the old one. This one has seen better days. It's kind of square on a few sides, and that's where it was wearing into it. So the one I have here is from another cab. It looks like it's a replacement one already. Looks like it's already a Dorman one because this one has a 3/8 Allen in it, and the one that was in the truck had a T47 Torx, and it still has the plastic on it. So I'm gonna do that and then see how the door works. Okay, we might be on to something here. Been fiddling with it some more. The door is still really hard to like move, and I don't really know why. When I had this apart the last time, I put a new hinge on it because, like I said, the hinge was broken. It seems like the hinge is still really stiff, so like maybe that'll break in or something. But it's not really as smooth as I would like. But anyway, I moved that out about 1/8 of an inch, as I said. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see the line there where it was. So I had to extend it out past that because it was already maxing out in the hole for adjustment. And now it's like pretty good. Like you'll see it's too far in, but that's because there's like an inner and an outer limit to what that catches. So when you pull it out, it's pretty good. I figure that in part will be absorbed by the weather stripping, hopefully. But it has a reasonable gap. I mean, you're gonna be able to get it so good because, like I said, these trucks weren't exactly like built with care, pretty much like everything else in the 70s. So it has like a similar gap all the way around. This isn't like a Pebble Beach car where you need to have like a piece of paper gap all the way around. So it's good enough. I'm gonna put the weather stripping in and seeing if it still closes. If it is, then I guess I figured it out. Think I might be onto something here. Put the weather stripping back in. I didn't glue it yet, just popped it back in. I'll buy more adhesive if this is actually successful. But I'll give this medium effort. There we go. Doesn't go in, doesn't go out. I'd say that's pretty good. Don't know what that was. Could probably use some grease on that, but pretty good. Yeah, we'll call that good enough. So the other god-awful noise that you hear is the fact that all the rubber in this door is gone. And the window just moves around any way it wants. Even when it's rolled up, it's hitting on here. Like everything's loose. That's probably, yeah, that's loose. So I bought when I bought the weather stripping, it also came with all the rubber in theory for the doors. So I'm gonna attempt to figure out how to do that. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence with ditching these mirrors. I don't know, I'll see how I feel. Because I could put the regular, like the 80s ones on it with the chrome thing here, and then like the smaller mirror coming out. These are almost like a baby toe mirror. But kind of seems like that might be the kind of the door itself that's kind of, well, that is loose right there. I don't know. I'll see how I feel about this in the end. See if those stay or not too. Well, I have the door disassembled. I didn't want to film it because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But basically, you just take all the bolts off and then try and sneak everything out of the door. Maybe it'll make more sense when I reassemble it. But here's what I did find. I noticed that I thought it was weird this part of the door was moving before when I moved the mirror. And I checked and the other side doesn't do that. And then I see right there, this metal is broken. It also seems kind of bent. So I'm not really sure what that's supposed to look like. But I might as well address that while I'm in here too. I'll have to look at another door and see how that's supposed to look. Other than that, obviously, like all the other stripping was completely shot. But I have the vent window out. The vent window, there's 2 bolts. Where were they? Here. And then there's 3 screws up in the door frame. Here, here, and here. Those are Phillips head. And then you can twist that and kind of pull. It comes as a whole assembly out. It's taller than you think it's going to be. And then I have that on the bench right now. I'm going to try and change the gasket in it. So here's another bundle of fun. This is that piece I said that goes way down in the door. So that's what you have to try and twist this and then pull the whole thing out. There's the 2 bolts goes I was talking about. So at the bottom of this was a spring, like a keeper and a nut. And that's what the thing actually hinges on. Because I had to get this out because the rubber actually goes under it here. There's a hole poked in it. Well, there should be a hole. It's not pre-poked, but one of these holes here, it actually goes through. But I just saw that it's like riveted on right here on a hinge. And then the hinge is riveted on to the actual frame. So I had to see how to do that. There's probably going to be some YouTube inception here. I'm going to look up on YouTube how to do this and then film a video and put it back on YouTube. So let me figure that out and I'll get back to you. Yep, those rivets, they all got to get drilled out, which I just finished doing. So there's the rivet for the hinge. That was no big deal. Then I also learned there's many more. So there's 2 right there that connect to the long piece. There's 2 more right there. And then once you get into the long piece, the seal is held in by a series of rivets, which you also have to drill out in order to get the seal out. There's where the 2 go to attach that, and then up there is the other ones. So I don't have those rivets. Turns out there's something special. So I'm gonna order them, but in the meantime, I'm gonna clean this up the best I can and probably paint it, because it's kind of getting rusty, kind of badly in one of these spots. Yeah, there it's actually like getting through, but I figure once paint's on it and weather stripping's on it, you know, should be weatherproof again. So I'm gonna clean these up and paint them and then rejoin you when I have some more parts. Okay, I'm back with updates here. As usual for me, it's been a few weeks since I worked on this, but I was sick three times with whatever is currently going around. I don't know, bird flu, hoof and mouth, whatever. But the rivets came in from CJ's Pony Parts. I have no affiliation with them, but for some reason they have a lot of stuff for Squarebodies, even though they're Mustang place. But so, whatever. So I rebuilt the windows here. This sucks. Much worse than I expected. There's the new rivets. That's the new like special rivet. It didn't actually come with enough in the kit because you actually have to rivet in this one seal as well. But just regular hardware store rivets seem to do the job. So I cleaned everything up and painted it. This one, the passenger side one, was actually all rotten out here when I took it apart. So I cleaned that up and I just basically I made this out of JB weld, sanded it flat, that actually looks decent. And
and then let's see what else. That's about all there's to say. I need to pound those flat yet. But I started putting it in the other side already because I didn't know how to do it, so I wanted to do it off camera. And it did eventually go in. And this also kind of sucks. I thought it would just kind of like go in, but not at all. It required some soap and water on the rubber, which I use soap and water too to put the glass and stuff in. But I had to actually like lubricate this and kind of tap it into the door. It actually like sits in here pretty hard. It's kind of hard to see anything. I found out why this door was all floppy. It no longer is floppy. I'll show you on the other door because I still have it apart. Right here is some little, I don't know what you want to call it, but there is a body clip, like a sheet metal nut in here, and then a screw goes through that hole, like, whoops, like this. And once you get that vent window in, you actually tighten that screw and it pinches the door together around the vent window. So this side was blown out for some reason, like the metal was torn and everything. I managed to massage it a bit and I put another clip in there that I had laying around and then a screw from my bin of screws and tightened it up, and like now it's pretty good. Current problem, I started putting the door weather stripping in, which like everything else, I have no idea what I'm doing. So the next step is maybe to put the glass and the regulator in, but I forgot that this regulator is broken. I remembered it now that I'm ready to put it in. This is the one out of the truck. I was just going to order new rollers. It's part number Dorman 74430 is the old GM window rollers. You just drill these rivets out and then nut and bolt the new ones in, because I think, yeah, pretty much all three of these rollers are shot. But then I remember too that this thing is all floppy. So pretty much the whole regulator is just shot. So I had some other doors up in the other garage, so I pulled that regulator out. And this is the funny thing about these trucks. Everyone thinks nothing changes from like 73 to 87, and boy, does stuff other change. I went over this with a fine-tooth comb to figure out, you know, if anything was different, looked good, until it came to this. It's gonna be hard to show with one hand, but here is the original regulator. So this is where it comes through your door to actually, if you put the window crank on it. So measure that with your eyeballs there on the screen. Look at that one. It's about 3/4 of an inch longer. So it would kind of seem that I am at a issue here. But this one's real good. It's real tight, has nice rollers on it. So that I'm not held up for another week waiting for window regulators, I think I'm going to try to drill these rivets out of this mechanism and try swapping them. So more rivet fun. If you move the gear all the way to one side, it exposes the third rivet here. So there, and there. So I'm gonna try that, and then if that doesn't work, then I guess I'm gonna have to order, I'll probably order both regulators because I'm sure the passenger side one's also gonna be shot. So disregard the last updates, I have more updates. My idea didn't work. So the problem was that these rollers on the one that came out of the truck are tiny, which I was not aware of. Then I found out that these are from an earlier model. I don't even know where I put the other one right now, or I would show you. But anyway, the rollers are bigger. So this is only from the first year or two. So I went and ordered new regulators. So now they're here. I just got both of them. They were pretty cheap. They were like 70 bucks for the pair. So this will save me effort when I take apart the other door and find that one's wrecked too. But this one has the correct small rollers. The middle isn't all shot. So we'll see how this one is. The only thing, I don't know, the metal seems like really thin on these. But I don't know, I guess I'll see how it is. The stud's the right length too, it's a shorter stud. So I will throw these in and maybe the door will work again. So remember like 30 seconds ago when I said that these window regulators seemed a little bit chintzy? Well, they are. It's my surprise face. So as you just saw, I put this here unit in the door. Problem starts when the fact that the second time I rolled the window up, it broke. So the little thing here where the handle goes on, it actually spun inside the gear that moves this gear here. So there's another gear in this hub, or this little mound right here, that gets pressed onto the shaft, and that's what actually moves the window around. So you can spin this now, I can see it do a little by hand, and nothing happens over here. And this occurred literally the second time rolling the window up. So I thought, well, I don't want to, mess around and have to wait for another one. So first I staked it with a punch, and it worked for about one more roll up. So I took it out again, and I tack welded it on. And that lasted about 3 roll ups before it stripped out. I think it actually stripped the gear this time. So yeah, these are great. Also, one of my complaints with the original ones was that this thing was all floppy. Well, guess what? This thing's got up and down the door like 5 times, and now it's just as floppy. So now I guess I'm fixing the old ones and sending these back. So here is the original one. You'll remember that it had a broken roller, and my issue with these rollers being weird and small. So I went on eBay and did a search. So these window rollers here are roughly 5/8 in diameter. I didn't get a real precise measurement. But then I found that early GM rollers are 5/8. And I guess commonly in A body, like Chevelles and stuff, they're rear quarter windows. So I ordered these here replacement ones. See, I already have one in. It's kind of like the vent windows. You have to hit the back with like a rivet tool to bend it over. I ordered 2 because I thought I'd mess one up, but I didn't. So that's how they come. These were like $20 a piece, so that's cool. I'll just hold on to that for another one breaks. But I guess I'm going to reassemble everything now using the 50-year-old regulators that are better than the new regulators. Okay, so it's like 4 to 6 weeks later, but the windows are in with the original regulators again. So now, with my fancy window crank here, we can see window goes down. Look at that. May the modern conveniences never stop amazing me. Anyway, now I have new door panels for this. Let me get them and I will, install it. Okay, so here's my brand new Chinesium door panels. These are off of eBay. I don't even think they had a brand. But they are new and they are black. They're much more plasticky than the old ones. But they did at least come with a new seal on them. It came with the armrest already installed, which is also kind of plasticky, but whatever. Odd thing is that it might be hard for me to show you on camera here, maybe in here. There's no holes drilled for the armrest, because right here there's 2 screws that go down. So I guess I'll have to try and line them up because it probably should have that. But let's see how this goes on here now so I can seal in all my previous craftsmanship. No, not too bad actually. There we go, not too shabby. Let me screw that in and see how it looks. While the door panel's on, that wasn't too bad. I had to massage a few of the holes a little bit because they weren't dead lined up. But all the screws are in, which was more than there was in the old door panel. I got the 2 screws in here, roughly where they belong. They kind of just made their own hole, but it's solid. Now you may be noticing there's a gaping hole down there because of the sins of someone in the past who put a speaker in the door back when these trucks were worthless. So the biggest problem I have with that, aside from there being a giant hole in the door, is that this lets road noise and wind in, which is the entire thing I'm trying to accomplish here, is to not having the truck sound like I'm driving a dumpster down the road. So the proper way would be to like get a patch panel or make a piece of metal and go in there, but it's kind of like annoying bends. So I have a different solution to that. And that's this metal tape. So I'm going to tape over that, and then so that nobody looks at it and thinks I'm an asshole, we have this nice carpeted panel which will cover up all those sins and enclose the whole door, which will also add a little extra layer of sound protection and then, you know, classiness in the same process. So I have important updates here. I put the camper top on the big block truck. Think it looks a lot better being all, you know, tall and stuff. Oh, and also I finished the interior. Hood's back on and I washed some of the filth off of it. Here, I'll give you the grand tour here. So there's the door panels that I completed. Put everything else back in. Here is that kick panel carpet, as I was talking about. And then these are the dyed vents. See the one over there too? You can see, you know, I got dome lightage. But let me show you like everything that happened here behind the scenes too. So first of all, we covered the seat. Like everything on this truck, everything was the wrong year. So this was actually like a 75 or 7, I forget what I figured out it was, seat. And I just got a cover, I think, from like stockinteriors.com or whatever. I didn't show this because once again, I didn't know what I was doing. It was actually incredibly easy, easier than even people made it out to be. Derek from Vice Grip has done tons of videos on recovering truck seats, so you can watch his for the whole detailed thing. The only problem I have with it is that I didn't get new foam because I thought my foam was good because there wasn't like a bite taken out of it in the ass area. But it turns out the foam kind of shrunk because the back is kind of baggy. I just keep telling myself that'll fix itself in the heat somehow. I'm not sure what my reasoning is for that, but I just keep telling myself that. I got a new dash pad, which cost as much as the entire truck did when I bought it. The dash pad is from USA 1. I was recommended they have the best dash pads. It's nice and all, but I waited almost a year for it. And I had to actually threaten to cancel my order before I got it. So I did get it. It is nice, but yeah. Once I got it, it is nice. And I got the factory AC package on it. And it came with different badges. It came with the custom Deluxe badge, you know, dyed black and everything. I just had to modify the vents a little bit to go to the vintage air system I have in this truck. The gauge bezel is from CJ Pony Parts. I'm forgetting all this stuff. Fun thing about how everyone says everything's the same on these trucks, but it isn't. 73 and 74, I believe, has a little hole here for the headlight switch, where you actually have to remove the knob. Some of the later trucks, there's holes that you cut out. You can slide the whole contraption off without taking the knob out. And then for some reason, like some of the holes are slightly off and stuff. Same thing, I got the factory AC parts there and there. I think this also came in like a whole kit from CJ Pony Parts with the vents and everything. And I had to modify these again to fit the vintage air system. And then this is just a steering wheel I got at a flea market. Don't know what it is, but whatever. The column's been in the truck. The gauges are from what I originally put in the truck when I LS swapped it. These are 91 Suburban gauges with the electronic speedometer. And you can watch those videos to see how it all works. Everything works off either sending units or the factory LS computer actually runs the gauges. So that's pretty cool. And then another addition I made is I put a fire extinguisher in here. So when there is the fire, there'll be a tiny fire extinguisher to do something about it. So yeah, that's that. Oh, and you saw me dyeing the vent visors there too. But not too much to say. It's an interior. Let's see how it is when I drive it. Definitely seems quieter in here now with, like, you know, carpet and insulation and everything, and I guess more carpet and more insulation. Missing the rear view mirror yet because it keeps falling off. I don't know about anyone else, but I have had zero luck with that little pack of rear mirror glue in the past few years. I'll end up gluing this thing up in this truck like 3 or 4 times a year, and I tried following directions perfectly. I've tried making up my own directions. Nothing really seems to matter. Gonna sweat it out in here with the windows up for a little bit so I can see what it's like to have quiet. So far, so good. That's all I should mention is I didn't get into this earlier, but you probably saw me like cut a few corners doing the interior. And the problem is, not really the problem, but the reason that I did it is because projects like this tend to just keep like spreading as you find more and more stuff. And you're gonna keep on finding more and more stuff in a truck this old. So I kind of had to just get to what I was trying to get at, which was making the interior the way that it is now, and not fixing every little thing that I found wrong. If it wasn't that big of a deal or necessarily had to get done, I fixed it. But you know, like those holes in the doors and maybe some of the holes in the floor, I don't think I showed you, like I just covered them up for now, because if you fix that, then you're gonna find something else and you're fixing that. Then, you know, you're putting floors in the truck, you're putting doors on it, then I'm painting stuff, and like it just kind of keeps on going. The other reason that I had to kind of hustle on this and overlooked a few things is that I have another project that I have to get in the garage that actually has a deadline, where this thing really didn't, other than spring, which it now is. So next up, you're going to be seeing a car that I realize that I haven't even really made any videos of on the channel, like here and there, but never actually like worked on it, I don't think, on the channel. And it's actually my first car, which is weird. I haven't uploaded more of it because I've had it for nearly 20 years, which is terrible to say, now that I think about it. So yeah, that'll be coming up next. Hopefully I'll have another video out soon. So keep an eye out for that.